Welcome to Photoshop Hollywood, boys. Beautiful ass setup. Is the microphone on? It is. Welcome to Hollywood. Oh. Alright. Anyways. Hello and welcome to X and Y Gaming Casually Competitive, and in today's video I have a deck profile, a very one specific frog link deck, little link spammy deck, and it's for sale. Link down below in the description. It's very heavy sorrow I part with this deck. However, I built it with a understanding of I would embrace Master Rule 4. Alright, and I thought, well, what is Master Rule 4 all about? Links. They love themselves some link monsters. I was like, okay, well, I'll make a deck and I'll get a bunch of link monsters, right? And then I got one, and he was in a starter deck. I was like, oh my god, Tri-Guy Wizard, he looks so cool. And he's okay, he's 2200 attack, a link 3, but his effect, especially his last one, is pretty good. So I liked him. I was like, I want to build a deck around that. Well, let's build stuff. Generic, easy to summon monsters. And the things you use to summon them. There's the... oh my god, excuse me. Starting off, we run 3 copies of Swap Frog. Swap Frog is a fantastic card. When he hits the board by the normal or special summon, he will send another frog monster from the deck to the graveyard. Also, he can be special summoned from your hand by discarding a water attribute, and that's pretty cool. Also, he can bounce himself back to the hand. You can normal summon another frog that's not him. I mean, if you haven't normal summoned, you can normal summon Swap Frog, but anyway. There's a dupe frog. 3 of them. If he gets destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, actually I think it's just sent to the graveyard, you just get a frog. Also, if he's on the field, your other frogs can't be targeted, and that's pretty neat. What's also neat is Ronin Totem. That guy is the best because he will bring himself back to life from death by banishing another non-Ronin Totem from the graveyard. And when he does that, if he gets pointed towards a link monster, Arrow's Sea Archiver, who is also a fantastic cost for Swap Frog special summon, comes back to life as well. Of course, he gets banished if you do that, but now, you know. The Agent of Creation, Venus. She loves herself some balls. And you got 3 of them. And let me tell you, there's nothing I love more than getting all 3 of my balls lined up in a row. Back in the day, you can make Gachi, and in this deck, not so much. You don't do the Gachi, but you do the Nightmares. And they're pretty great for making them. And then you got Link Slayer, who's basically like the New Age Cyber Dragon. Okay? Basically, you don't have any monsters on your board, regardless of what your opponent's got. You just play him down. He's a good guy. Got a built-in MST for discard, but that rarely comes up. Glow Up Bulb, Dot Scraper, great 1-for-1 targets. Gigantes, best to pair with Dot Scraper, but either one works. It also works with Gem-Knight Garnet, who of course we have Perfamage Trick Clown as well. If you get sent to the graveyard, pay 1,000 life points and it comes back. Of course, Dot Scraper goes to the graveyard, comes back, he gets banished, comes back. You just can't do both of those things in the same turn. Which, yes, if he's in the graveyard and he wasn't sent there this turn and brought back or whatever, you banish him for Gigante Summon. He comes back. It's great. It's fantastic. Good synergy all around. Glow Bulb, I don't even know. 2 Necroface. Absolutely beautiful cards. We're banishing stuff so much anyways between the Desires and the Frogs, and just everything's getting banished. It's a good time. You shuffle it all back. You get a good beat stick for just like 1 summon. Who cares? It's great. And of course, you notice Garnet here. You're not going to have a Garnet without a Brilliant Fusion. This is the best card. There's 3 copies because you want to see 1 fast. And you turn 1 spell card into 2 monsters. And it's so good. Pot of Desires, there's only 2. because you basically don't want to desire into a desires, right? Like, you just don't want to do that. You don't really want to banish another desires. Well, I don't know, maybe you do. Because I want to get it off at least twice, right? I want to see it at least once. I want to get it off at least twice, and then Necroface at least once. That's the ideal ratio. There's also 2 Scapegoats, because summoning 4 tokens off of 1 spell card, what do you want? It's 4 bodies on board that you can link off with 1 spell card. It's amazing, and it's at 2, so you can only run 2. So Soul Charge, Monster Reborn for regaining lost monsters. 1 for 1 Foolish Burial. Basically, obviously, you go for Glow Up Bulb or Dot Scraper, and then Foolish Burial, the one you don't hit, with 1 for 1, or vice versa. And for board clearing, Dark Hole and Raigeki. Dark Hole, working in tandem with the Nightmare monsters, is essentially a Raigeki, and that's always good. And now, next for the cards that should all basically be Solemn Strike. 1500 to stop a destruction effect. Okay, it comes up every now and again. Ceasefire, 500 to burn for every effect on the field. It's hilarious because it's link spam. And Solemn Strike, 1500 to negate. These should basically both be Solemn Strike. This should just be 3, just so you see it more often and get it off maybe at least twice before getting off Solemn Judgment and a few Trigates, you know. But basically, there's your lineup for the deck, alright? It's very high risk, high reward, for sure. But it pays off, and it's fun. Because you have a bunch of 1s, right? Well, I say 1s. A bunch, right? There's definitely 1s. I say a bunch, but there's only 2. It's Link Spider and Link Rebo, and Underclock Taker, because specifically he points down. So you want them pointing down for Trigate. Then you have a generic 2, Proxy Dragon, and the rest of the 2s are Nightmares. So running 3 Nightmare Phoenix. Okay, discard a card to destroy a spell or trap card, and then if it's co-linked when you do that, you draw a card. As well as Nightmare Phoenix keeps every monster co-linked to it in the chain protected from being destroyed by battle. Whereas Nightmare Cerberus will protect them from destruction, and his discard effect allows you to destroy a monster in a main zone that was special summoned. Both of them, of course, allow you to draw a card if they were co-linked when that effect activated. And then the last of the Nightmare monsters is Nightmare Unicorn. Its discard effect will allow you to target a card on the field, shuffle it back into the deck, and then of course draw a card if it was co-linked when that effect was activated. Meanwhile, its secondary effect will allow you to draw a card in place of your normal draw for each differently named Nightmare monster in the co-linked chain. So if you had these 3 in a chain, you would draw 3 cards per turn, which is pretty crazy in overall card advantage. Then with the rest of the 3s, I have Trigate Wizard, which of course is essentially I wouldn't say the bread and butter of the deck. It's mostly the Nightmares for that one. But yeah, man, I love him. A free banish every turn, a free negation every turn. It's so good. And he's pretty easy to make in this deck. I like him. And then the last link monster is Topological Bomber Dragon. If you ever end up with like Nightmare Unicorn on top, and you have both of the other 2 Nightmares on either end, right? If you want to forego the card advantage, you can just Nightmare Unicorn off and with another 1 monster for Topologic Bomber Dragon. They just basically go all full offensive. I mean, sure, they can always target your Cerberus instead, but, you know, hopefully you'll have something for that. But, I mean, just full offensive. If you go Nightmare Unicorn, Trigate, Phoenix, Cerberus, attack directly because you cleared the board and you're going for OTK, you're only going to deal 7,900 points of damage. So unless you make sure to get an extra monster on board, or if you can't, you're just, you know, giving it over to the opponent. Next is the Exist monsters, because they're relatively easy to make, as well as the Link monsters. But I'm going to say the Link monsters are easier, because you can literally 1 for 1. Right? Exist inherently requires 2. So anyways, totally awesome, times 2. basically, if you open Frog heavy hands, you can go into Toad from the first turn, hopefully get its effect off for summoning at least once, maybe twice. If you get it off twice, you've already won the game. Let's be honest. But if you get it off once, right, then you use him as link material, and then use his graveyard effect to bounce Swap Frog back to your hand for just added recursion. That when he makes his way back to the field, he can send another frog monster from the deck to the graveyard for more material for running Toad in. And last but not least, for rounding off the extra deck is Gem Knight Seraphonite, the brilliant fusion target, and an additional normal summon per turn, and just an all-around pretty neat card to have. And last but definitely not least are the tokens that you can summon with Scapegoat. One for each goat. And there you go, the very high-risk, high-reward Frog Link deck. For sale now, by owner. Link in the description. Please enjoy these cards, and whoever buys these, please buy these, and please play them with another human being, and have fun, like a lot. Please, that'd be cool. Thank you. And thank you for watching this video, because it's over. I cut the screen with all the information, subscribe and stuff, and I think dinner's ready. So you know what, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat food. Oh, it's not ready. I'm just going to go cry. Alright. So, alright.